you're requesting your pesticide credits, don't forget to sign out of the presentation. Go ahead and go to the audience chat box, type your first name, last name, and the states for which you're requesting your credits. So if anyone has questions, go ahead and put them in the box, and we will take the first one. Gary, it sounds like you've got some construction.
Yeah, they're working on the roof right above my head.
All right. Any questions? I can see that there are like 28 of you on, but apparently Dr. Hawkins answered all of our questions for us. Give it a couple more moments.
Well, I guess I covered it all, Laurel.
I think you got it. So thank you, Dr. Hawkins, for your time. Oh, we got a question. Okay, thank you. All right, so what is the recommendation or regulation in Georgia for the distance from a wellhead to a fertigation system? And this is from John.
John, typically, from what I've seen, I'm not sure if there's any recommendations and or regulations in Georgia for the distance from the wellhead to the fertigation system. Typically, though, fertigation systems are going to be right there at the injection point, but that could be wherever your fertilizer is. So I'm not sure if there's a regulation. I would suggest at least 50 to 100 feet away if possible. Or like I said in the video, if you've got a good well cap, it's angled away from the wellhead. Still, I'd stay a good distance, let's say 50-ish feet or so, but I'm not sure if there's per se a regulation that says 50 feet. Recommendation would be that 50 feet or more, just in case you have a spill, John, would be the only purpose for that.
All right, thank you. Do we have any other questions? Now's your chance, because once he's gone, he's gone. Just kidding. You have his contact information. I'm sure Dr. Hawkins is willing to continue answering questions. All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Hawkins. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Don't forget to sign out for pesticide credits in the audience chat box. So again, that was putting your first name, your last name, and the states that you need those credits for. All of the educational present. Okay, we got another question. I'll pick up where I left off there. So this is from Kristen, and she's asking, here in North Carolina, we have frequent hurricane impacts on shallow coastal wells with extremely high sodium and chlorine levels. Do you have any idea about a timeline for those levels going down?
Ooh, Kristen, that's a tough one. That's going to really depend on the subsurface soils. I'm assuming if you're close enough to the coast to get the hurricanes, you've got a relatively sandier type soil like we do here on the coast of Georgia. So really it's going to be, time-wise, I can't really say, Kristen. Some of that's going to be flow of water, fresh water in. So really that timeline is going to depend on how fast that clean water can flow back into that well. So I can't say 1 day, 1 week. Again, it's really going to depend on that subsurface and how fast fresh water can flow back in.
All right, we'll give it another couple moments. in case we get any more, since I keep trying to wrap up as people are still asking questions. All right, I'm glad I waited. So Kristen's asking again, do you see any value in drilling new wells in those situations?
Let's see, Kristen. When you say in those situations where you have a high sodium and chloride level, before I would drill a well, Kristen, I would probably look at a filtration system, an ion-specific filtration system to get some of the sodium, the chlorine out, those salts out of the system would probably be my first suggestion. Drilling a new well is going to run, and again, this is a real guess, in that 5,000 to 6,000, maybe even more range, whereas a filter system is going to cost a lot less. So I would probably try, really depending on how much water you're flowing to, I would probably try a filter system first, or work with a local filter company, well driller company, to see which filters are available before I looked at a well, a new well. That way you can get the chlorine and the sodium out of the system without and allow that natural fresh water to come back into the well itself. Hopefully that made sense, Kristen.
We've got another question from John. So for an ag well water test, does it matter if the well hasn't been used for a few months? And in that scenario, how would you handle that?
So, John, depending on what you're using that water for, yes, it will matter. If it's a deep well, a drilled well, really any well, if that water is stagnant, if there's any bacteria in that water over that stagnated period or that stagnant period, those bacteria can grow. So if you have the ability to pump that well out, what we usually suggest is at least 4 or 5 turnovers of that well. So if you know the depth, if you know the well size in inches in diameter, you can calculate the volume of that water in the well. And then if your pump is working, excavate or remove 5 times that well volume. And what that'll do is get that old water out, allow, again, 4 to 5 times of that volume come back into the well, and then I would take the water test at that point. If that didn't really answer the question, John, or it didn't make sense, if you can give me a call or shoot me an email, then I can call you back and we can talk about it a little bit more. But I wouldn't take a well water sample right out of the well if it hadn't been used for a couple months. Try to get a lot of that old water out and then get the quote-unquote fresh water and then test that water.
Okay, I think that's about all we've got on time, probably, unless someone squeaks one in under the wire. So remember to stick your name in if you need those credits. All this content will be available until April 30th, so you can still access it. So thank you for your participation. Dr. Hawkins, thank you for your presentation. And this concludes our presentation today. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Laurel.